All right, Frank, before we get into today's episode, I have a little story. You ready for story time with James?
It depends. Is story time with James like a recurring segment? Because I only like long, continuous stories that last hours, sir.
Okay.
So I want a
No,
nice, long story.
this is a one-off. This is a short story that ends with a mystery and
Oh,
an unknown conclusion. How do you feel about that?
okay, I'm down. What do you got?
Okay, so we were walking the pooch today. Just walking
Hmm.
down the street, blah blah blah. And this lady out of her car says, "Hey, have you seen a red case, blah, 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 on the side of the road?" And we're like, "No." And then she drives away. And then literally 30 seconds later, we're like, "Whoa, there's a red case in the middle of the road." And we pick it up. It's an iPhone red case. And then we're like,
Uh,
"That's weird. There's no iPhone in it." I was like, she wouldn't just be looking for a case, right? And then we're walking
I
up the
mean,
stairs. And I'm like,
kind of what she
"Whoa."
said.
And I was like, that is exactly what she said. She didn't say iPhone and case. She said red case. So then we're walking up the stairs up to like like from below street to an upper street. And there's like Queen Anne, like there's like walkways.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we're walking up. We're in Queen Anne, but we're walking up. And I'm like, whoa, what is that? I'm like, that looks like an iPhone. Like cell phones have a distinct brick shape that are flat.
Yeah. Okay. Can you detect an iPhone from an Android at what distance? Can you detect that?
This was about several hundred feet, and I was like, I'm like, that is an iPhone 13 Pro Gold.
I can see the lenses from here. Okay.
I can see all three of those lenses. Gosh darn it, and it's there. So I go and I run. I'm gonna go run in the middle of the street. So I go running down. This is the most destroyed iPhone I've ever seen in my entire life. The
Oh,
back, non-existent. The MagSafe popping out. The front screen bulge, like nothing. And I'm like, right?
perhaps run over by a car.
Many a car.
Yeah.
Many a car. So what do? You take it. So I'm like, I'm going
Yeah.
to take it. I'm like, I'm going to find this lady. And because she's gone. We ran around for 5 minutes. Gone. I'm like, okay. I bring it back. So what's the first thing you do, Frank, with an iPhone that you found?
Well, with an iPhone that's
The screen doesn't
working,
work. The screen doesn't work. The screen doesn't
yeah.
work.
This is tough because there probably is a lost mode that you can access from just the button, but like, is the button working? Like, is anything working? Is the battery working? Nothing. There's a serial number on it. Can you read the serial number? No, you can't
The
see
entire
that.
back of the device is gone. That's where the
There's
serial
not
number
much you
is.
can do here, man. You find that case, and hopefully someone's card is in it or something.
So, well, we had both the case because we found the case and we found the iPhone. None of those things, right? And the screen doesn't turn
Yeah,
on. It's all
yeah,
liquidy underneath there. So I'm like, I'll
that's
plug it into
rough.
a computer. Maybe iTunes will open up a magical catacomb of information.
It is possible. I guess at that point you're not running off a battery. It's possible the CPU can still boot up. Yeah, okay,
No,
it's worth a shot.
it does. It does not. No, absolutely not.
No.
So I'm like, what do? I can't get the serial number. I can't get anything. And
Yeah,
then I Google around what to do with the lost iPhone. And someone says, try to look up like if you have the serial number or the IMEI number, look
yeah.
up the carrier. You can take it to the carrier. They can look up the person's. But I'm like, everything's an
Oh,
eSIM.
yeah. Okay, that's what I was about to ask. Did it actually have a physical SIM? Not
Well,
so common anymore, huh?
at this point in time, I didn't know what make and model it was. I knew it was a fancier model, so it had the 3 cameras. So I go over and I look at it. Oh, there's a SIM card slot. I'm like,
There is.
amazing. I go find my SIM little dongle thing that like punches it out. No SIM inside. So it's the model with the SIM card and the eSIM. I'm like, oh no, technology advance, but fail at the same time. But Frank, what is on the inside of a SIM slot? Do you know what's inside of it? You have no idea because you've never looked inside of it. What is inside of a
I mean, there's
i
the 4 contact pins. There's no number printed. Is there a number? No, there's no number printed. Why would they
there
print a
is
number
there's a laser etched IMEI number in
for the
the SIM slot.
eSIM?
No, for this no
Ah,
normal SIM, the normal SIM.
Okay, I'm so confused. Okay, because I know there's a few numbers, and the professionals probably know all this, but I thought the IMEI was the one that was on the SIM. No, the IMEI is the actual device. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
So,
Good detectiving. How small? Like you can actually read it?
whew, man, it is the smallest numbers, and it's
Yeah,
also in gold, shiny gold. Right?
right.
I'm like, it's
You
so
need the
hard.
right lights and yeah. But
Now there
you
is,
have a high quality iPhone, so you can do the zoom in and enhance trick. I believe in you.
and,
So you got it.
and then I used like AI to enhance, and then like the auto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, uh, so I'm like, oh, I'm like, now we're getting somewhere. Now
I love this.
I'm like
This is
30
good.
minutes deep.
I did not know that they printed. No, James, that's expensive. Why in the world would you print that number on the circuit board? Was it actually gold, or
It's
was it
cool.
copper, or was it
It's
silk
it's
screen?
it's on the it's on specifically the SIM slot, the thing that comes out that you
Right.
put the SIM card
Okay.
into. It's like laser etched
Okay.
on it.
So this just must be my ignorance when it comes to the cell world. Okay. So you must get those pre-registered. Wow. Did not even contemplate that. Fascinating.
Because every iPhone device's IMEI number and serial number are linked together. And
Okay.
there is an iPhone help article that says, like, what versions and what things are printed on what thing. And back in the day,
Wow.
older iPhones actually had the serial number and the IMEI number on the SIM card slot before they printed the serial number on the back of the device.
I'm sorry, just as a hardware manufacturing perspective, that sounds terrible. I'm sorry, Apple, you have to deal with that. That must be some kind of government regulation.
It's got to be, right? It's
Yeah,
terrible.
that must be so expensive to get that actually done.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
it's so okay. So I have the
What do you do
IMEI
now that
number.
like does Apple have a service where you can just say lost iPhone, type in an IMEI? Is that what's going to happen?
Well, the beautiful part is like you said, like if you have iCloud, you could put your phone in lost mode and then on the screen it would say this iPhone is lost, please call me blah blah blah. Problem is iPhone don't turn on. Second thing, I can't see the screen, right? Third thing, I can't even plug it into a thing, right? So it doesn't even
Yeah.
matter. And at this point, it's not like anyone's stealing your stuff because your iPhone's busted, right? I mean, it's completely
Well,
destroyed.
no, because I okay, so I was gonna make an argument before, like this phone sounds trashed. Obviously, no one's gonna make use of this, right? So
Yeah,
you throw it in the trash. That's what you actually do because at this point, who cares? The only reason I didn't say that was because yeah, technically there's a little memory chip on there, and your little memory chip has a bunch of your data. It
it's
should be
true.
encrypted, but it technically has your data. So I know personally, I would like to receive even the damaged phone back, just so that
Yes.
I know my data is secure.
And that's how I was because here's good Samaritan James. Earlier in the week, Frank, we went on the same walk. I found an entire wallet on the ground
Yeah,
and I rode my bicycle to return it to this person because I'm like, heaven forbid I drop my wallet. I had all
yeah,
my credit cards in it. It had some money in it. It had
yeah.
it had their ID, but it doesn't have your phone number. Why would your wallet have your phone number in it
You know,
in
if
general?
if you ever need like a little reassurance that humanity is in general good, you can actually look up the stat for how our lost wallets handled and lost phones handled. And there
Oh,
is something like a 90% return rate with all the money intact, all credit cards intact. People get it. You know, we all make that stupid mistake of leaving our wallet somewhere. And it's funny
yeah.
to see that like 90% of us are actually really good people and we just leave the money in it, leave everything alone and just contact the person and get it back
Yeah,
to
because
them.
in my mind, I'm like, what if this is my wallet? What if this is my iPhone? Even in that
Yeah.
damaged state, it's completely wrecked. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I still want this thing back. So, okay, I'm like, okay, I have an IMEI number, not the serial number, not
Yeah.
anything, IMEI number. Now, here's something that's really fascinating, Frank. The IMEI number is linked to every single iPhone because it's laser etched. And
Yeah.
every IMEI number is registered in a global database. Did you know this?
That much I knew. Thank goodness for that, because that's what allows us to bounce between carriers and all that stuff. So you can just get that identification number. Again, I wasn't. It never occurred to me that they physically printed on there, but I did know it was a global registry. It's like Ethernet. We technically have
It's just like,
unique Ethernet addresses. Yeah.
and so I go down to the internet and I'm like, it's like, who owns this
Yeah.
domain name? It's like, it's this, right? But you don't get that specific information. It is the registrar, whatever. But I type in the IMEI number into the IMEI
Okay.
lookup.com website, whatever it is.
Okay. Cool.
Frank, a catacomb of information comes back to
I'm
me
not sure that's the
because I've
word you
never
mean,
done
but
this.
that's funny. That's funny. I used to look up people's license plates just because I was curious, like what public information is there like on a random license plate? It's surprising how much there is.
Yeah.
So how much information is there on my little IMEI?
Okay. So here's what you
In
get.
general, your IMEI is not leaked, right? In general, it's roughly a random code, so you can't really guess someone's IMEI. So it's funny the amount of information they could probably get away with putting in there. So what they have?
So you get so you get the IMEI now, obviously. You get model region, activation status, warranty status. Yep.
Okay. Well, capitalism.
My assumption here is that these IMEI websites are doing a whole bunch of lookups all at the same time and combining information, right? Because once they know it's an iPhone, then Apple probably has stuff too. So there's warranty status, coverage start date, estimated purchase date, telephone technical support access, repairs and service coverage. Does it have unlimited repairs for accidental damage? That one's important. Let's come back to that one. Express replacement, Apple Care eligible, registered device, replaced device, loaner device. The IMEI 2, that one's a little bit hashed, but just barely. The
Okay.
serial number, ooh, and then you also get if it's a carrier, if it's locked or unlocked, and if the IMEI is registered to somebody, which this is not because
Oh,
obviously the eSIM is. And then
right.
also if Find My Phone is on or off.
Okay, this is so weird. I gotta tell you, this is so weird. Fine, fine. IMI. The one thing missing here is lost phone. Like you just named all these things. There's no lost phone link for IMI.
There's nothing, no. And in fact, because this, so the next step in this process, by the way, is if this IMEI is registered with a carrier, Verizon, T-Mobile,
Sure.
AT&T, you take it into the store, they're
Yeah.
able to then know who the customer is. But
Yeah.
Frank, this IMEI linked to the physical SIM card, where there is no
Yeah.
physical SIM card, means I do not know what cell phone
Right.
carrier this is registered to.
Right. So the eSIMs now, do they get a fresh new IMI when they register? Okay. Yeah,
Yes. So
I see.
every
We're
every
all
the
learning how cell phones work today, everyone.
because you can have like you can have eSIMs registered and an X amount at a time. Like normally there's like two and they each have their own IMEI. So this phone has one physical, one
Yeah.
eSIM, and it's IMEI 2, but the IMEI is also linked to the IMEI 2, but the reverse lookup doesn't show you all of the IMEI 2. The last 6 digits are blanked out.
Yeah. Okay. So darn, like, okay, so you wish there was a link for, hey, I just found this phone, and you wish there was they could tell you, yeah, they just can't tell you the carrier. Okay, they just can't.
Nothing.
Yeah, if they never put a
But
SIM in it, they never did. Yeah.
yeah, but I can tell by the warranty status it's up to date and they have Apple Care Plus and they have
Yeah.
unlimited repairs for accidental damage. It's active, which means I got to get this phone back to this person because they're going to get a new phone. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. No. 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 100%. 100%. Yeah. That is so okay. I was making fun of the fact that they showed warranty status, but I guess it really helped in this case. But that does still seem awkward. But fine. Great. Wonderful. Have you made any more progress? Where are you at?
Okay. So my next step is like, I now have the serial number because before the serial number was gone. And I was like, surely there's got to be a way to link a serial number of an iPhone device, which Apple knows about. They know the IMEI as well, but they know the iPhone serial number. There's got to be a way for me to look up stuff. And sure enough, there is not, by the way, which is good. Also good. I'm not complaining. But
So did you?
I was able to look up with the serial number now the make and model of the phone because you can say,
Oh
is my
yeah.
phone coveraged and eligible for repair? And you can put that in. It's an iPhone 13 Pro. So I know what it is now, but I don't know who it's registered to.
Okay, I'm still a little bit flabbergasted that Apple doesn't have a way for you to say, "I found a phone. Can I declare it lost?" That's interesting. Or did you not Google that, or does it not exist?
Okay. This is a great question. Uh, um, okay. So yes, there is. There is.
Okay.
Okay. So there is a way. The way that you do it is if you, let's say I find your phone, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
If you put your phone through iCloud in lost mode,
Yeah.
there is a button, there's a phone number I can call. Because, like, when your phone's locked, you can still make phone calls.
Okay.
There's a way to do it. So if
Mm-hmm.
you make a phone call to a specific number that's on the screen, there's like a button that says call the lost number.
Please don't tell me you're going to clone an IMI.
No.
Okay.
So if you call that number, it will connect with a insurance company that will
Okay.
then connect you with the person. It's like an intermediate between. But
Sure.
this
Fine.
phone has no screen. I can't tell what's going
Yeah.
on. It's
Yeah.
impossible. It's impossible. And now
Well, it's
I can't clone an IMEI again because the actual IMEI, which is the eSIM, I can't get to. I'm like, I am, but there is a phone number. There is a phone number you could call. That's like,
okay.
I found a lost phone. I'm going to call this phone number. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a dog tag. It'll figure it out. But no,
Okay.
Frank, I can't do that because I can't make a phone call on this thing.
And you, as a good Samaritan, can't call the number and be like, "Hey, I found this other phone. I did discover its serial number." No. Okay.
No. So what to do, Frank? In a little amount of time, I got a lot of information
Okay.
with,
Can I just be
by the
blunt?
way, nothing
Okay.
on this phone. This phone is like, it's pure garbage.
Here's what you do. You take it to an Apple store and be like, "Hey, I found this phone. Deal."
That's a great, and Scott Hanselman, ding, he was like, just take it to the Apple store. And I said,
Me and
cool, let me
Scott.
take a quick 3 hour drive. Let me just three
Right.
hour drive to
Right.
Portland. No
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Take a ferry. Just hop on over to the Apple store.
I'm a good Samaritan, Frank, but I'm not that good of a Samaritan. Okay.
I'll do some Google searches, but I ain't driving 3 hours.
I will spend 8 hours researching how to get this phone back to you, but I will not drive it to an Apple store. Okay. So I have all this information, all this stuff going on, right? And I'm like, okay, there's one place left to look, not the Apple store, but what else could I do? Call Tim Apple. I'm going
You
to
have his
call
number?
Apple. I'll just call 1-800 my Apple.
Yeah.
Call them
I
up.
mean,
Call up the Apple store. Cupertino on the line. Hello.
is it 1-800-Apple? I've never done this. I assume, like, Google has ruined me. I just assume no companies have phone support anymore. So like I just don't think about Apple. Could you have just called the local Apple store? But no, you went straight to Tim Apple. You went straight to Cupertino, California. You're like, I want the beaches, I want the waves, I want the palm trees, and I want to talk to Tim.
I went to apple.com, scrolled all the way to the bottom, and it says, call us 1-800 my Apple.
Okay. Sure, it's not me Apple, but okay.
My Apple. My Apple. My Apple. Me Apple. I don't know. There's a hyphen in between. Uh, so I'm like, Apple's, they know the information. I see the
Yeah,
information. I'm going to
exactly.
call. Now, have you ever called Apple? I'm assuming not because you have no idea that you could call them.
No, and I can't, like, okay, it's gonna go one of two, no, one of three ways. I have predictions, okay? It's gonna be the deepest, darkest nested phone tree anyone has ever gone down. That's option one. Option two, they're gonna be like, here's Siri, good luck. and you're going to talk to Siri, and Siri's going to try to route you somewhere. And then number 3, they're going to be like, hey, to buy an Apple product, go here. Those are my 3 options.
So I called up 1-800 My Apple, and I go, and it's somewhere in between all those different things.
Oh, really?
So the first thing that happens is like, hey, thank you for calling Apple. They're like,
No one ever
let us
calls
know
them.
let us know what you would like. I can understand, and the voice goes, I can understand anything that you tell me.
You're like,
Like,
okay, meaning of life, baby. Give it
and
to
then
me.
I was like, I found a run over iPhone that I can't read the serial number and it's all smashed and the iPhone isn't on, and I want to get it back to the person and the iPhone, and I don't know what to do with this iPhone. And then the voice comes back to like, did you happen to find an iPhone that you would like to return to the original person? I was like, yes. And then it's like, cool.
You
They're
turned
like,
into the robot? Okay, good.
and then it's like, please hold while we connect you to an Apple representative. I'm like, oh, money. I'm like, it is on. I'm going to talk to someone. And then the voice comes back and it's like, while you wait, please choose from a selection of musical scores and your preference.
Oh,
Choose
stop it.
one.
It's U2 album 1, U2 album 2.
It's that one that plays every time I plug my phone in to the USB in my car. Um, so
That's
I picked
awesome.
smooth jazz. That's what
Yeah.
I was just, I'm actually
I
still
prefer
working.
jazz fusion, like a good
Ooh.
R&B jazz or a good rock jazz, but okay, fine.
Smooth jazz. There's only 3 options. There wasn't that much for being Apple Music. I mean, come on.
And 2 of the
Um,
options were U2, so.
yeah, that's true. Would you like U2 or smooth jazz? I'm gonna go with definitely smooth jazz. Tim Apple. Um, I love talking to people on the phone. It's fantastic. It's a rarity nowadays, but I did it.
Yeah.
I waited. I waited for about 5 or 6 minutes. Not bad.
Not
It's
too
Apple.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
literally one of the world's largest companies in the entire world. Not that bad of a wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Google would be much longer. I've tried to call Google. You really can't, but I've
No,
tried.
one time I called. Did I tell you I called the IRS one time?
Oh, don't do
And I tweeted the series of codes. There's a special
that.
10. You have to get it right. It's like 1, 5, 3, like every single step to actually talk to a person. And it's on
Mhm.
Reddit. You have to like find it on Reddit. It's wild. And
Love
then you
it.
do it and it works and you talk to a person. It's crazy. Um, so I talked to one of the nicest people in the entire world, just so nice. And I give her the whole 20-minute shebang story. I'm like, let me lay it all out for you.
And for her,
And
it's just another Tuesday. She's heard like 20 of these calls already today. She's like, "Oh, yeah. Walked out into a busy street, did you? Well, someone jumped out of an airplane to catch this one."
she's like, I'm busy over here, collecting the satellite to saving real people that are doing a thing, but you just want to watch
That's
the
fun.
morning show. All right now. Not to mention, when I call, they know all my information because I'm calling from my phone. My phone's linked to my
Yeah.
iCloud account. They know everything. Like, oh, Mr. James Montemino. Oh, is there something wrong with your iPhone or your Apple TV or your Apple Watch? Like, nope, has nothing to do with that. Nope, it's all good, Apple. I know you know everything. They're like, oh, are you having problems with the deck on your house? Wait a second, Apple, what's going on here?
A little
Anyways,
creepy.
little creepy. So, anyways, I'm like, hey, I lay it out. She's like, cool. Well, give me the serial number. Let me see what I can do.
Mhm.
Give her the serial number. She's like, cool. Just give me a few minutes. Let me see what I can do. So she doesn't put me back onto smooth jazz, which was a bold decision. Instead, I got 5 or 6 minutes of smooth keyboard typing sound effects, which was great.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
Describe this more. Like a clickety keyboard? Like one of
Yeah.
my okay.
5 minutes of that.
That's weird, Apple.
She's
Okay.
working. She's going to town or Googling something. I don't know. She's going to town, do something.
Love it. Okay.
And she comes back. She's like, can't do anything.
Oh jeez.
And she's like, I can't do anything. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then she's like, take us to your closest Apple store. And I was like, the closest Apple store is 3 hours away. And she's like, how about an authorized dealer? And I was
Oh.
like, is there a way to look for that? And she's like, yeah, go to locations.apple.com. And I was like, I could take it to like Boost Mobile or Walmart or something.
Yeah.
They're going to
Okay.
throw it away. And then she goes, or just take it to the local police station. Oh,
Yeah, okay. I've had bad experiences with police detectives. I'm sure they're all lovely people, I'm sure, but I've had bad experiences with every police detective I've ever dealt with. I literally had items stolen with, like, the Find My iPhone tracking the people as they, like, steal my devices and carry
yeah.
them to Oregon or wherever they were going, and they're all like, "We'll get back to you in 2 weeks." I'm like, "Great." But okay, okay, it's worth a try, it's worth a try, don't let my biases affect you.
I looked on the Apple support forums, and many people said, take it to the police station. They're your city's lost and found.
I mean, okay, imagine you're this
True.
person. Maybe you would actually call the police and maybe they would have a record for you. It never even occurred to me for a lost iPhone, though, honestly, to report it to the police.
Hold on,
You
my
have some
dog.
activity over there. Maybe the
We
police are
got
calling.
Millie, Millie, Millie security over here. That's Millie. Oh, sorry. Millie, hey, you wanna come sit down? Hey, Millie, hey, Millie, hey,
Well,
knock it off. Anyways, that's staying in the podcast. Okay,
good.
so Millie, hey, they,
Are
she needs a little
animals the
head rub.
most wonderful? Well, we said police too many times.
Millie, okay, Millie, in the bed. Okay, this wouldn't be live to tape, but this wasn't.
Yeah,
She's on guard now. Okay, so I'm like, all right, I guess I can take you to the police. We got pretty cool police. They're fine, whatever.
yeah.
But they're 3 miles away, so I guess I got to cycle over. I'm like, I
Okay,
guess
but 3 miles is a lot less than 3 hours. This I think Good Samaritan James, you're already on a roll here. You're doing so well. You've done your own detective work. I think it is about time to hand it off to the professionals.
because I'm like, at the end of the day, the detectives, I imagine, are taking the iPhone, they plug it into a special machine, and they have everybody's information. Like that's my assumption, right?
I I don't think so. I I
No,
don't know. I don't work in a modern police office. I don't think that they have a database or anything too special like that. What they do have is probably some authority with Apple where they could say, "Please look up the serial number and
yeah.
tell us who bought this phone."
So I was like, okay, this is my last chance. I'll do what Apple says. They say take it to the police.
Yeah.
So I print off all the information all the information, which is not also suspicious at all, by the way,
No,
that I'm like have
totally not
all of
creepy.
this. Yeah, not creepy. So I take it, I ride my bike over to the police station. Now, funnily enough, though, the phone's starting to get a little warm, and that's a little bit scary because the entirety of the front and the back are like very disconnected and like all over the place. So maybe I
Yeah,
did turn it on when I plugged it in. I don't know.
paint me a little bit more of a picture. Like, is it the phone holding itself together? You said the back is off, but like, is
Okay.
it mostly together?
So the entire back of the screen, the entire back, all gone. You can see the inside.
Fair.
You can see the MagSafe. You can touch the MagSafe inside.
Ooh, yeah.
All of the camera lenses, all three busted. The front shattered into a million pieces, bulging off the front. Still together magically. Still amazingly together.
Bulging from impact or bulging because the battery is bulging? This is kind of where I'm getting at.
It could be that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very scary. And it's like strapped to my back as I ride to the police station. And I go to the person at the counter and I say, I found this iPhone. I tell them the whole story. I've told the story 4 times now. The fifth time right now. Here's
It's
the whole
getting
story.
better every time.
And I go, because there's more to the story. And and uh and I go, they're like, okay. And then she takes it and then she like touches it. She's like, this phone is getting really warm. I go, yes, I'm very scared. And that's why I'm gonna leave it with you. But it's like one of those things where you slide it under the glass. So you like
Yeah.
slide it like here you go, right? And they take
I've dealt
all
with
of my
detectives a
information.
lot.
Yeah, they
I
take
like it because it reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. You know, when you talk to the guy at the door,
the
and you're like,
yeah,
here's my thing. Can I
boom.
hand this to you?" And it's very Wizard of Oz. I do enjoy that about every police station I've ever been
And it was a great experience. I like locked up my bike, did all this stuff, and then
to.
gave her all the information. And then she's like, okay, let me take all of your information. So she's like,
Oh boy.
name, phone number, address, what time did you find it? What's this? And they're like, all this stuff, right? And then I ride my bike home and I get like 4 text messages about like from the police off the police station that's like, thanks for bearing with us. Like, hope everything's okay. Do you want to fill out the survey? No, I just dropped off an iPhone. I don't need to fill out a survey. I don't now. It's over. It's out of my hands. It's over. But I do want to know if it ever gets back to the person. So please let me know. So who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe a year from now, I will find out if this person got their iPhone. But the
Yeah.
crazy part is that we were walking the dog. The lady who iPhone it was
Yeah.
yelled out of her car. She's like, "Did you find an iPhone?" We're
Ah,
like, "No." 2 minutes later, we're like, "Oh, we
2
found your
minutes.
iPhone." Nowhere to be found. Like, oh, what is the timing? Whoa, keep circling.
That's
Anyways,
the
that's the
worst.
story.
Were
That's
were they even driving in the direction? Like, could they possibly have seen the case and they just happened to
yes,
miss it? Oh, that's the worst.
yes. That's the worst part of the whole thing. And so I thought they turned and I thought they were going to park and come back, just
Yeah.
gone.
Darn
Oh
it.
man. So anyways, terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And this is why
Well,
I don't know. Find my phone, right? I was like, but then I was like, I was like, what do you do in that case? Like, it's a rare case, but like, I'm like, this thing, you take it to the police station. Like, this is a cornucopia of information on your life, right? It's very, Nat Friedman
yeah.
stood on stage on Xamarin Evolve 2014. It was like, this thing is alien comes down, blah, blah. It's like, this is you, right? So I
Yeah.
remember that was a good quote. So
I would say in the end you did the right thing, because in that damaged state, I'm not even sure I would have gone as far as you, James. To be 100,000,000% honest. No, okay. So let's public service announcement here. Apple Care Plus Pro, does that include Lost?
that's a great question. Apple
So, like,
Care.
could the person just declare it lost and get a new phone? I'm wondering if that's possible. Like, or do they have to actually have a trashed phone in their hand in order to get the accidental coverage to come back? I'm only asking because I have a lot of faith in police departments, and by a lot I mean zero. So I'm just not sure the phone's going to get back.
Well, here's a fun fact for you. Theft and loss coverage is included with Apple Care Plus with theft and loss for iPhone. So it's a special one. It's not just Apple Care Plus, it's Apple Care
Hmm.
Plus plus.
Yeah.
I think it's plus the other
Plus
stuff too.
two
Oh yeah, it is.
pluses.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and your IMEI database probably didn't tell you that information.
No.
It said it was covered.
Said it was
Yeah,
covered.
okay. Well, that's gonna add a little bit of extra paranoia for me of whether I wanna add that kind of coverage to my phones. I don't even get do you get the extended warranty for your phone? The Apple Care?
No. No, it's too expensive. It's
I
$150 a
know.
year. Not garbage.
It's terrible.
No.
And knock on wood and all that stuff, I just haven't dropped my phone in a long time, so
Well, the nice thing is like, you know, so if I do, so here's if you do lose your phone, that means you get a new phone. You get a new upgrade. Heather, this happened to
privilege.
Heather.
What if you can't afford a phone at the time? Come on, it's a new phone.
Someone will give
Just
you a
spend
thing.
all your
Yeah,
money on it? Yeah, okay.
yeah, I don't know. Well, Heather, we were thinking about again. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. This is the phone that I have now. Was this incident? We were in Wallingford. We were parking right by the Archie McPhee's. You know where it's at.
Mhm. Mhm.
And Heather was getting out of the car, and she had her phone on her lap, and during the
Yeah.
drive, and forgot it was there. Got up, it fell, and there was a single um, uh, crack through the middle of the screen. She was
Yeah.
devastated, right? It was only like a year old. And
It's
I said,
heartbreaking. Yeah.
I was like, time for an upgrade.
Every
So we
time.
literally went down to U District, the U Village, went into
Yeah.
the Apple store. I was like, hey.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's like, we should really, we'll just we'll give you full trade in for it.
Nice.
So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Because we're like, does this happen? He was like, so disheartened. Like, yeah, we'll give you the full 600. I was like, cool, $300
Oh.
upgrade, bingo bango. Like Apple's really good with the
Oh.
amount of price that they gave you. So she went from an iPhone X to an
Mhm.
iPhone like 12 Pro or whatever. Well, it was great,
Yeah.
$300. I was like, well worth it, done. So boom.
Okay. So for if we're gambling men here, um, do you think the person would have gotten the lost coverage? I'm guessing no on my side. Will the person receive the phone back from the police? It is possible because the police deal with a lot of theft,
Yeah,
obviously. And so they may have special tools for it. They may be able to get customer information from a serial, but it's still feeling a little bit less likely. We'll just go
yeah.
with that. So
I was
what's your gambling prediction?
well,
What's
I
the
did look this
likelihood?
up. Not so here's the thing with the Apple Care plus theft and loss, whatever it is, you still have to pay a deductible, right? You know,
Okay. Yeah.
on top of it. So it's like you pay for the coverage and then you also have to pay $150 if it's theft or loss. But if it's screen or back glass damage, that's only $29. Other accidental damage, 99. They're probably going to charge her the 99. But I
Yeah.
assume that she did have Apple Care Plus, which is good,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
my assumption is that didn't have the plus loss or plus theft because that would be for her phone is $250 for 2 years. That's a long time. Plus $150. Now you're in $400 and your phone's
That's a
3 years
lot.
old. Yeah, that's a lot. So
And
I
also,
think
just
that
to add evidence, I've literally never heard of that program before, so it's
never.
good that we've both learned today that there is actually a loss, but yeah, I don't see too many people spending the monies on it.
No. I think that
Especially
the
because
phone will get back to her. I think it'll get back to her. I hope.
good man, good. Ever the optimist. A good Samaritan should be an optimist. So,
I would like to think so.
very good.
I returned a wallet and a cell phone this week. I'm feeling great. What else will I find in return? Nobody knows. But
It's karma, man. You're just building up the karma, you know? You're gonna trip and nothing's gonna hurt you, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, good karma." And you're gonna be
I hope
fine.
so.
That's what's gonna happen.
That is my lost iPhone story, Frank.
See, I love that. I love that. I actually have a good friend that loves to do this kind of investigative stuff, and so I always joke that he's like my informal PI. So whenever something like this happens, I actually always chuck it on over to my friend just to let the unofficial PI run it. So I like that you got to be a little bit of a private investigator and go through all this. And I think we all learned something today. I
Yeah.
learned gotta keep driving around on that road and find your phone. Like, I am curious why they were looking for the case and not the phone. Were they tired of the phone and they're like, "Oh, but that was a really nice case. I really want that case back." I do
Yeah,
wonder what the actual circumstances were.
I assume that the bright red cases like stand out, right? But
Mhm.
I mean, she didn't say a phone in a bright red case. She was like, "Did you see a bright red case?" Which I mean is what you would see visually. So I get it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a nice
It's
phone.
what you would
And
see
I
visibly, but as a human being person, what do you say to another person? You're like, "I lost my phone. It's a bright red case." That's what you
yeah.
say. You don't say, "I
Yeah.
lost a bright red case." So it's just
Yes.
whatever. It's just
Yeah.
kind of funny. Hmm. I'm glad the world has someone like you. I'm glad it's not me because I think I still would have thrown it in the garbage and just hoped that
I
they
w-
had the coverage.
I was terrified to throw in the garbage just because the battery and whatever was happening
Fair
seemed like a
enough.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, the other thing I was thinking is like, well, okay, if I can't find anything, maybe Apple will give me some credit for finding this phone. But I was like, then they'll definitely know whose phone this is based on the serial number. I'm gonna get in trouble if I try to do something with it.
Well, you're not a good Samaritan anymore if you want credit.
Yeah, which I didn't. I just wanted to find it a good home back where it belonged.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
there
gonna
you go.
join you in being an optimist and just say yes, the phone will get back home. We'll live in that fantasy world where the phone finds its way back home.
Well, as well, because like you had your phone lost in the bottom of the sea, couldn't find it back. If any of our listeners have had any sort of similar situation to yourself or to a loved
Yeah,
one or a non-loved one or someone else as a random person that you found their phone, did you get the phone back? I'm super curious because I
they are
want
fun
to
stories.
know. Yeah. And then I'm just like, mine still has the SIM, but I don't have the SIM in it. So I'm like, I think
Yeah,
that would have been a winner. Like if I had the sim, but it's like if you have the eSIM, like have we evolved too much? So, anyways, let us know. Write us in the show. Go to mergeconflict.fm. Tell us your story. We'll read it back live on air. Send us an audio clip, 60-second audio clip,
true
5 minutes,
crime.
10, 40 minutes. It doesn't matter. We'll just play it back as bonus episodes of Lost. Is this a new podcast? The Lost iPhone Files. Ooh, I like it.
I think it'll be great for about the first 50 episodes. It might get a little boring
Yeah.
after the first 50, but I think we could get 50 out of it.
So I found an iPhone on the ground. Yeah, exactly. All right, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. Make sure you go to all the things mergeconflict.fm. There's a YouTube channel. There's other things you can find us. Hit us up. There's a Patreon feed. You can write at us. Do all this stuff. But that's going to do it for this week's podcast. So until next week, I'm James Montemagno.
And I'm Frank Kruger. Thank you for watching and listening.
Peace.